Hello there, namaste. So I just finished watching Maharaja, and I'm gonna be honest, this is gonna be an interesting and conflicting review. So first thing I got to say about this film, its artistry and the non-linear storytelling is absolutely phenomenal. I normally can kind of predict where stories are going just because of how it is. I was assuming this film was gonna be a comedy. I probably wouldn't have watched it if I would have known the truth, but this movie is well done. I couldn't predict it till the very end, and when it got to the very end, I knew what was coming, but it was justifiable, but at the same time, the topic itself hurt me. So this movie goes about being a non-linear story. It starts off with the guy kind of waking up. He wants to take time off work, and it says no. He loses his wife and child, you think. But it turns out that his child was saved by a dustbin, and his child is going off for for like a sports retreat, and his child is narrating a bit of it, what kind of man her father is. I didn't care for the narration. The film really didn't feel like it started for the first hour, but the reason for that is it's a non-linear story, so they're literally having to go back and forth, and I didn't realize it was non-linear until they had this guy who basically stole a car for joyriding during the night, and then he returned it the morning after, and you get his perspective where he's beating up the owners of the car, and then you get that scene again like 40 minutes into the film from the bartender's perspective, the main lead's perspective, and it's like, okay, this is non-linear. I remember talking to my fiance saying that, but there were hints as how dark this film was gonna be. But I kept thinking it was going to be comedy because there was this running gag where when he was talking about the story of what happened to his dustbin, he had the same story happen over and over and over again. And it was funny because everyone, even the cops, when they heard it a second time and a third time, they kept rolling their eyes. And he would do this same gag where he would like, all right, let me tell you the story. He'd grab a bottle of water, and then he'd just be drinking it. There was little running gags, which I was like, okay, so this is a comedy. But then they'd have a scene where this criminal was allowing his friends, who are also criminals, he's allowing his gang member, it wasn't a gang, whatever. He was allowing this other deadbeat person to take advantage of a child. And I'm just like, this is wrong. But that was the first indicator, and that was probably 30 minutes into the film, but there wasn't much after it, so continued watching it. And it gets to the very end, where things start to come to light. What is the true story behind the dustbin? All this stuff. Storytelling-wise, it's powerful. So, the cinematography as to how primarily the editing, as to how it was edited, absolutely phenomenal. My biggest issue is, I gotta be honest, I can't stand that topic. I cannot understand. I hate movies that try to... It's never normalized, but the problem is when you make films about this kind of act, it normalizes it in people's eyes because it's like, oh, well, it's in this film, and 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 you read it in this part of the newspaper, and you read it in this part of the newspaper, that it becomes normalized, that other people get to that point and where they can do the same criminal act. They're like, well, it's not a big deal because it's in all these movies, and sure, that's not exactly accurate, but yeah, I don't like things like that being normalized. I've always been against that because the film is epic with its storytelling, epic with how it ends, and yes, you could argue that the ending wouldn't be as powerful if what they did to the child wasn't there, but the problem is, there is this epic writing, absolutely epic writing, because this is a film that needs to be watched several times to see just how intricate it was done. I would say like the only thing that bothered me was the constant scenes of the cobra. I didn't understand that, because when he wakes up in the beginning after the dustbin was taken and he was knocked out, there's a cobra slithering over his body and going out the window. I don't understand that scene. And after that, there was another scene with the cobra in the police station, which he's carrying, and I didn't like that scene either because I'm like, I've had snakes, I've had serpents. I love handling them. They're very sweet. Well, not sweet. They're reptiles. I enjoy them. They're phenomenal creatures. But I'm like, you never hold a snake like that. Never. If you do that, you have to be gripping it by the highest point of its neck. Why? Because that is an aggressive hold on them. They don't enjoy that. If anything, it would have been nice if he was carrying it open hand and the snake was kind of slithered around his arm. That would have made more sense to me. Because I'm like, and that was in the beginning. Other than that, the story really did work. The story was incredibly powerful, and the very end, because when it comes to that sort of thing, and some of the Indian cinema I have seen where they have that that situation as well with women always being it's just awful. I always feel like the people get off too easily. What I liked in this one, I gotta say, is that the first two were kind of hurt a lot before their lives were ended, and the last one, the one where it's just incredible, it was more like psychological torture. And at the end of the film, I was angry, I was feeling hatred, but it felt justified because of how that movie ended. That's why I kind of feel like, for someone as, okay, I'm a teddy bear on the inside. I am 6'5". I think that's 193 centimeters tall, and I'm heavy set, I guess. I'm built heavily. Not that, okay, a little heavy, I guess, but I'm well built. But at the same time, it's like I'm soft on the inside, and this kind of stuff just eats me up. It bothers me. And I'm like, this would be a film I would have loved to have taken apart, watched over and over to see the little things I missed. But I'm like, I can't. I just can't. It's just one of those things I can't do. It is rough. It is absolutely rough. I mean, it is artistry. I can understand why people have been praising this film. But for me, it's one of those that I'll only ever be able to watch it once. Like I was talking to my fiance, it's like I probably should have done a watch log for this film because I will never watch it again. I mean, powerful film, but that kind of topic is just hard for me. I mean, I've just always felt that that's absolutely wrong. I always felt like that thing should never be given attention, like in film, and anyone who does that kind of act deserves like the worst of the worst. Before they get sentenced to whatever they get sentenced to, remove that part of them that caused them to do it. Then give them this maximum sentencing. I mean, they're just like bring back the point in time where if you stole something, they'll cut off your hands. I mean, that's how I feel about that type of act. And the film was just so well done, and it's just it was hard because afterwards I was basically sitting in the dark trying to get past the rage, the anger I was feeling because of it, the way it makes you feel. And then again, that is also power of cinema. That is also the power of this movie. It's supposed to make you feel certain ways. Problem is, I'm too soft on the inside to ever go through it again and watch it. So I'm praising the film, but I just can never get through it again. I can never get through it again. There are just certain things that I have seen as absolutes in my life, and the mistreating of women is one of them. I don't, like, it's not to the point where it's American feminism, but I just believe that there are strengths in everybody, and not everyone is equal, of course, but everyone has their strengths, and everyone should be respected. Male or female, it doesn't matter. Everyone deserves respect. And when I see a film that does this, I'm like, how many films are there that where men are put in that situation? And don't get me wrong, there are men who are in that situation. However, it's just seen differently, and films aren't made about them. Yeah. It was a tough one. It was a tough one. I said it was going to be kind of conflicting because I want to praise this movie to up on high, but at the same time, I can't, just because I have such a soft, weak side to me, I guess. You can criticize me all you want in the comments, but I'm gonna stand by it. I know who I am. I'm happy with who I am. I wish it was something else. But the thing is, the final scene with the psychological torture wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't done that way. That's the problem I'm having. It's like, I'm trying to rewrite it, because that's the problem. I like to rewrite things in my head to have it work a better way when there's something that I absolutely disagree with. Absolutely disagree with. Whether the people need to suffer more, but the people suffered enough, but it's like, I still didn't want those scenes. But it's like, how do you get that psychological torture in there? I mean, I'm someone with like, if you're gonna do something, I mean, just beat them up. I'm okay with that. It works for me in the film because it's like you're treating everyone as equal. But when you're treating them like beneath you, where you take advantage of their body because you see them as less than, that is where I kind of draw the line. Them beating someone up, I would be okay with because they get beaten up in turn. It's like treating everyone equally. But it was just rough. It was like I'm trying to rationalize how it could be done differently. But how can it? The same psychological torture doesn't hit the same at the end if it wasn't done that way. And it's aggravating. You see, I'm getting mad at myself for trying to find a different way around it, but I can't. And I hate that. I hate that, because normally I can justify things by going, oh, if they did this, this, and this, it would have been so much better. And normally that is the case. They just don't do that. But this time it's like, if they did, it wouldn't have hit as hard. I mean, it would have still been great cinematically. It would have been great editing, great storytelling, but the end wouldn't have hit as hard. So, yeah, I'm very vague with the story because I don't want to spoil it. I'm pretty sure some people who have seen the film are going to be like, you've spoiled everything, but no, I haven't even touched the surface of it. I don't want to spoil this film because, sadly, however I feel about never watching it again, this film, just for the way it goes about it, is worth the watch. I just feel like there should be a warning at the beginning of it for someone as sensitive as me. Like, just so you know, maybe it was there and I just didn't notice it. Or it just says, oh, just so you know, it's gonna involve these types of scenes throughout the film, or at least 3 times throughout the film. It would be like, okay, mentally preparing myself. But when it happened, it just hit me hard. And then it stopped. It didn't show up again for like another hour and a half. And then it happened again, and it was just like, oh. And they focused on it the last time. Not to the scenes, but it was still bad. It was still bad, but great film, but bad. Oh, I feel like I'm eating myself up on the inside. But thank you all for watching. I don't know if this was a good review or a bad review. I'm just trying to be honest, because it's great, but at the same time, I don't want to praise it too much just because of how it hit me. But that was the point of this film. That was the point of the ending. You do feel justification for the psychological torture they put him through. Because oh my gosh, yeah. I'm done. I'm just gonna be talking in circles. Oh, let me know down in the comments section below what I missed. What's going on? Because there's just a lot to unpack, and sorry, I can't rewatch it. Maybe eventually down the road when I'm able to make money, like doing this for a living, and I'll have the time, like it's just like, all right, honey, I've ended up getting several million subscribers at this point. I'm making a living off of it. This is what they really want. See, I'm seeding in the fact that I want more traction here. It's like, I need to do this. I need to watch this again. And she'll be like, okay, we've got to. We promised this. Well, we're not really promising anything, but at the same time, you know what I mean. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Doodles.